Okay, first album to look out for. Let's start with thrash metal. I'm going to go to Los Angeles, Evil Dead, and the album is Toxic Grace, and that's released by a Steamhammer SPV, the German heavy metal label. What do we know about this band? Well, they released their first two albums in 1989 and 1991, and then split up, returned in 2020 with the follow-ups. That's their first album in 29 years. And that record was called The United States of Anarchy. So coming back after so long away from the scene, they're now following it up with a second album with the same lineup, which is an achievement in itself. And I know that some of the members were in that 80s speed metal band Abattoir, who famously opened for Megadeth on their first tour. So you've got some veterans in this band. And thrash metal, is there a better genre in the entire spectrum of heavy music? Let's see what this new album is like. We're going to stay with aggressive music of high tempo and crunchy guitars, but we're going to move over to metallic hardcore in the Netherlands for Bone Ripper and their new album called World Ablaze, self-released, and it's their sophomore record. I've reviewed quite a few artists from the Netherlands and Belgium that are in the thrash and hardcore scene. And it's like when you listen to a death metal record from a band in France, there's just something about that country that seems to be more interesting, the artists that they produce compared with other nations. And metallic hardcore is a bit like that with the Netherlands. Obviously the United States is the center of this, isn't it? But yeah, look out for that Bone Ripper. There's no doubt that will actually rip the skin off your face. Third choice, gonna stay in America, another self-release, and the band are called Cathari, and their album It Will Hurt the Entire Time You Are Alive, described as hardcore, mathcore and noise with a bit of sludge in there. So that's not a bad thing if it's just heavy and they're unable to decide what they want to be. You don't need to pin yourself down to one genre or even two. Just express yourself. That's what art is. And if that crosses over boundaries and hops between different genres, then who cares? So looking forward to that. It appears to be a follow-up to their 2019 album after major lineup changes, including a new vocalist called Magdalena Stevens. So I don't really know what to expect. So look out for that Cathari. It Will Hurt the Entire Time You Are Alive. Number 4, 2-track EP, debut record. The band is called Giant Spider. And the 2 tracks on this EP are called Exit Plan and 3 Moons. Metal, punk and hardcore all combined. They're an American band. It's a self-release. And it's recommended for fans of Voivod, Prong, Black Flag and DRI. So definitely going to give that a listen. 5th record, we're coming over to these shores, England. The artist is called Locusts and Honey, and the debut EP is called Teach Me to Live That I Dread the Grave as Little as My Bed. Funeral doom metal from England, released via Hyperthrow Records. Don't know much about this other than it being a debut EP. Love the sound, the title that they have for this EP. Quite an intriguing name as well, Locusts and Honey. I know they're London based, so let's find out. Give them a listen. The 6th one, back to the USA, Summoner's Circle, and their new album is called Cult. It's album number 4. It's released via Black Lion Records. They describe their sound as progressive, death metal, doom metal, and black metal. So that makes it progressive black and death doom, does it? I like all 4 of those genres. I do prefer death and black metal when they're combined rather than singular and their own genre. I find that they can be quite sterile on their own, but when you combine those elements, especially with prog metal and doom, hopefully that will be something much more interesting. This is the 4th album of their career. The 7th record, it's another EP. We're going to Norway. Trail of Tears, Winds of Disdain. Gothic metal, released via The Circle Music. Features former members of Blood Red Throne and Green Carnations, 2 bands I'm familiar with. in my work as a reviewer for our sister organization, Screen Blast Repeat. This is the first record they've released since the seventh album came out in 2013. I know that they split in 2013 and then reformed again in 2020. So they've finally got some new material and it's an EP. The eighth record, Andy's going to love this. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. Strange name for a metal band. The Biscuit Merchant. And the album's called Visible Scars. Progressive death metal. It's a self-release. And it's the brainchild of a musician called Justin Launcher. Now, what's most impressive about this is the ninth album of the series for the Biscuit Merchant in a 26 album series, one for each letter of the alphabet. So Justin wants to create 26 albums that can be listened to back, and he's up to album number 9. He says that it's genre-free metal. So one album, I assume, could be grindcore. He might do a black metal album on the next one. This one is gone for more of a progressive death metal with thrash elements. So looking forward to that. Don't be put off by the atrocious name for the project, The Biscuit Merchant. I'm sure that this will be a good melting pot of extreme metal. The penultimate choice on this record, we're going to India. Moral Putrefaction, self-titled debut album, death metal. I've listened to quite a few Indian death metal albums over the last couple of years. Again, a bit like France, they produce some interesting stuff from that country. It means a lot to them. You never get a band going through the motions. I think you've got a lot more to prove if you're coming from India and playing extreme metal. So I will give that a listen. I'll be expecting high levels of musicianship and passion. So before we go to number 10, the big name release this week is going to be the Rotting Christ album that comes out by A Season of Mist. Prozhistroy, is that how you pronounce it? You'll remember that I famously got this wrong and included it in the 24th of April albums that were coming out because I mixed it up with May. But anyway, the 10th one I'm going to go for is a bit of a maverick release. I'm a fan of this woman's work on YouTube, Lauren Babic. She's a singer who makes a living covering, really, metal artists, getting a band in, re-recording their material, putting it out, and getting hundreds of thousands of hits. Now, she's actually in a prog metal band. So the album I'm going to recommend, the 10th choice, is Red-Handed Denial. The album's called A Journey Through Virtual Dystopia. Gent metalcore, progressive metal. Based in Canada, that's released by Vacation Records. And it's their 4th album and their follow-up to 2022's I'd Rather Be Asleep. If you don't know who Lauren Babic is, type her name in YouTube, you'll soon understand. I know her main influence is Periphery. She's got a great taste in music. And she's famous in the YouTube community, not necessarily amongst more seasoned old school metalers, but now's your chance. Give it a listen. She's got a great range. You will have to maybe overlook some poppy moments in the music, but there's no doubt that the virtuosos, the lads that she's got behind them in the band, good songwriters, and we'll have that as the final choice. Red-Handed Denial, A Journey Through Virtual Dystopia, and that comes out on Friday, the 24th of May, 2024.